What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out and supporting this episode of Raised a Geek. This week, we decided to talk about the Roadhouse remake. Why would we do that to ourselves, you might be asking? Well, let's find out. I'm Chris, and this week I'm here with Don and Tony. How we doing, guys?
Chris, what is up today, my friend? Everything is good. And yeah, we're joined by our friend Tony, who's been here a couple times to talk about Roadhouse because he likes movies like us, usually.
Yeah,
Maybe not this one. I don't know. We'll see.
Good.
Holiday weekend, man.
yeah.
Holiday, Memorial Day got a little time off. Memorial Day is not only just for an extra day off of work, it's to remember those who protect us, guys. We love soldiers here, don't we?
Sounded
We're
so weird.
we're soldiers. We're Call of Duty soldiers.
Ah,
This day
okay.
this day is for us too. Yeah, man.
Sounds so bad.
Just kidding. It's
You're an idiot.
we are soldiers too, guys. Get it right. Anyway,
Listen. As your staff sergeant,
no,
you gotta-
never. See,
That's your staff sergeant. Oh,
Uh.
man. Yeah, but yes, you are right. This is Memorial Day. It's a good weekend for remembrance of actual soldiers, not virtual ones.
okay, listen.
What
No
are you,
limits.
what are you guys grilling tomorrow?
Ooh, I'm going. I think I'm gonna go with the. I was gonna grill today, but it was kind of rainy here in Chicago, so I got some burgers and dogs to go to. I think that's the classic one where you don't got to spend too much money. Doesn't take too long. Like you can go steaks or pork chops or ribs or whatever. Nah, man, I'm just a burger and dogs guy on the holidays.
I'm gonna bring some sausage over to my dad's house. Keep it simple.
All right, you going for Polish, smoked, Italian, brats? There's many sausages. You got to be specific.
So I
Ridge.
went to my uncle's family's shop in the Heights, D&D, and picked up some bulk spicy Italian. So I made patties with it. So it'll be like sausage burgers, It's gonna be nice. That and some Marconi bread.
That's too
The best.
fancy.
No
That's
way, man.
That's fancy. Like making burgers out of sausage. That reminds me of like I know we're not supposed to talk about the Cosby Show
Don't
anymore.
talk about his name. Don't.
Like that's a thing you don't talk about. But
Bacon
like
burger
remember
dogs.
his thing was the bacon burger dog, and I was like, "What is that?" When I was a kid, and it sounded so good. And someone like I made it up. You take a burger like ground beef and you make it in the shape of hot dogs. Isn't that the way you imagined it? Is that
That's
what
how I
bacon
imagined
burger?
it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I still got to
Yeah.
do that one of these days.
Yeah, but see, the sausage I picked up, it just comes like it's ground sausage, so just ground beef. So you just make a little patty and you're done. It's easy. I'm not uncasing linked sausage.
Thanks, Bill Cosby. Thanks, Bill
Thanks.
Cosby. I've said a lot of wrong things so far. Thanks, Bill Cosby, virtual soldiers. You know what? Memorial Day is for us too because we play fucking Call of Duty. Like I've said a lot of wrong things.
Yeah, you're on a tear today.
All right. I'm gonna
Okay.
shut up and talk about Road.
That's even worse.
This movie messed you up, man.
It did. This movie broke down. Usually we don't like to talk about what we thought about the movie until we're recording. Don was like, no, fuck that. And last night he was like, I hated this movie.
Spoilers, we'll get to it, but I hated it. And I'm glad to tell you why. And if one of you can convince me why I'm wrong, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but we'll get into it. I don't know. I wanted to watch this especially because I guess we'll talk about it later too. But the first Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze is like an '80s staple classic.
Sure.
If I think about Patrick Swayze, the movies that come to mind are Roadhouse. What's obviously Dirty Dancing, and then oh man, the Russians falling from the sky.
Red Dawn.
Wolverine's Red Dawn, yes, which also had a remake, which I don't think I watched.
Watch that one too.
Yeah,
Chris Hemsworth. No thanks.
it didn't live
Just
up.
wasn't-
Okay,
I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't memorable. It wasn't. I know I watched it, but I can't tell you a damn thing. I think most likely I sat there the whole time just going, why did they do this?
well that's like every remake kind of nowadays, or at least the majority of them. I know it's a thing where it's like original ideas aren't as prevalent as they used to be, and all the studios kind of feel like they want to cash in on like, you guys know and love this. Here's a new modernized version of it, and most of them I can't really name too many where I'm like that was better than the first one. They just aren't. They just
Or
aren't.
not even better, but just holds a flame. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, okay, that was a good sequel or a good follow up or a good remake. Where it's like,
Mhm.
it's like anything. Can you think of one remake that was better?
Not better. One that I genuinely I did enjoy was the RoboCop one. I really
I
like.
don't think I ever watched it.
I have no problem with that one. Like the effects took it to the next level. They had a solid story throughout. They had a lot of big names. I mean, Michael Keaton was the bad guy in that movie. Like, come on.
Mhm.
It had a good cast and good effects, and I enjoyed the RoboCop one a lot more than I thought I
Was it
would.
Joel?
Joel Kinnaman, which I
See,
love that dude too.
I
So
like him a lot. I don't. I think it's just one of those ones that fell off probably because it was a remake. The trailer didn't look great, and I was like, and it fell
yeah.
between the cracks for me.
No, I like that one. And we were just talking about before we hit record, but the dude who played Chalky White was in it.
Oh, see, yeah,
He was like his
R.I.P.
partner. Yeah. It just had an outstanding cast, and the effects I thought took it to the next thing. I would have been down if they would have continued doing it, but because it was a remake, it's really weird because we've conditioned Hollywood into thinking that we're only going to like go see movies from established IPs. So then this is what they give us. And you're just like, wait, that's not quite how it should work, you know? But anyway, remakes are remakes, and we watched Roadhouse. Did anybody watch Roadhouse 2 with Jake Busey?
no,
Didn't even know that was a real thing.
no. First of all, Don hates Jake Busey. Who you hate him
Wait,
and Rappaport, right?
which one's the dad? Because doesn't Busey have a son? Gary Busey's the
Gary
Gary
dad.
Busey's
Busey's
the
the
dad.
dad.
Jake Busey's
I'd
the son.
Okay.
I'd watch Roadhouse 2 starring Gary Busey.
I was gonna
That'd be
say,
amazing.
if there was Roadhouse 2 starring Gary Busey, I'd be all over it. Like just going crazy. Like I like, but no, the son, no, he's weird looking. Whatever movie he was in where a baseball bat went through his face, I was happy.
It's a little
Uh,
movie I like to call John Cusack Identity.
maybe, maybe.
They find him with the bat shoved down his throat.
Yeah, we're getting
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does sound familiar.
yeah, but no. To answer your question, no Roadhouse 2 starring Jake Busey. I'm just gonna pretend that's not a thing.
You love that guy.
Hey, Will Patton's in that movie too.
In Roadhouse
Okay.
2?
Roadhouse 2, yeah.
I don't even know who Will Patton is.
Nope.
Will Patton, he was in Armageddon, and he was in Gone in 60 Seconds. He was
Yeah, he was in
the cop that was running around with Timothy. I was about to say Chalamet, but that's not right. Timothy Elephant.
Elephant.
In Gone in 60 Seconds, he was the other cop.
Timothy Elephant.
Elephant.
Tim the Elephant.
Tim the Elephant was in the movie. Oh my god, I gotta see that.
Gone in 60 seconds. Tim the
He
Elephant's
did. Gone in
trunk.
60 Seconds.
Stop
Yeah.
making trunk jokes. All right.
Uh-huh.
All right. Roadhouse
Uh,
2024,
We're gonna get to this movie.
starring Jake Gyllenhaal. When they announced this movie, and they showed the first trailer, what was your first thought?
When they announced it, I was
When you
like,
saw the
this
first
is-
trailer.
Oh, well, first I heard they were doing it and I thought it was dumb.
Yeah.
Then the first trailer I saw, I don't think it was the teaser, I think it was the full trailer. And I was just excited to see Jake Gyllenhaal in it. And I was like, okay, if they're going to do it, at least there's somebody who's got chops. But then you watch the rest of the trailer. I didn't think it was going to be anything great.
Yeah, my thing was I heard it announced first, Roadhouse remake, and I was like, why? Kind of what we just touched on. Why are they doing some movies just don't even need to be done like this? Like, why are they doing it? So it was starring Jake Gyllenhaal, same way, like, okay, he's a bona fide guy. That's a good get for them. But then realized that it was gonna be like direct to Amazon. And so as soon as I heard that, I was just like, uh-oh. That's not good. Not saying that Amazon doesn't make good stuff. Like I watch some of the shows on there. Obviously, we talk about The Boys and Invincible and stuff, so they're fine. But movies, still, I feel like if it's a straight to Amazon or straight to Netflix or whatever, I'm just always kind of like, I don't know. The big studios didn't want to put this on the screen for some reason or another. So that always kind of gives me pause. But yeah, I was just not super pumped about it either way. Just kind of like meh, you know. I don't know. What was your initial reaction, Chris?
It was a lot of mixture of all of that. It was kind of like, why are they doing this? Then you saw Jake Gyllenhaal and you saw him all jacked in the trailer, and I'm like, all right, this might be something. And then I saw it was going to be on Amazon, and my initial reaction was like, well, at least I don't got to pay for it. And mixed with, oh, it's on Amazon, I'll forget it existed. And what's crazy is the only reason that we're still here is because people are still talking about this movie. And what surprised me the most is when it came out, how people kept telling me, oh, I watched Roadhouse this weekend. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, it was all right. And it seemed like I heard more positive than people saying, like, at least people were having fun with it. I don't think anybody was like, it's my favorite movie. But I was surprised at how many people seemed to have fun with it. To go back to what you were talking about with this going straight to streaming, I know shortly after the movie came out, both like Jake Gyllenhaal and the director Doug, what was it,
Lyman.
They basically said that they were offered like $60 million and a theatrical run or 80 million to put on Amazon, and they were both like, put it on Amazon. So they both walked away with some extra money, throwing it on Amazon versus theaters. So
Yeah, they probably knew that it was gonna bomb, and they would end up making an extra 20 million, right?
yeah, and getting a sequel.
Here's my thing though, like, would this have bombed, do you think, if it went to
Yes.
theaters, or would people have gone? You don't think people would have gone?
I don't know. Maybe the UFC crowd because Conor McGregor's in it, but that's it's not like a massive market, but it's I don't know.
I mean, it would fall into the lines of probably Statham. The Beekeeper came out this year. I mean, it made money. I don't know if it made enough money. I don't know what the profit margin is for a movie like this. There was a lot of unnecessary CGI, so maybe they spent a lot of money on this movie that they didn't need to. But yeah, I don't know what the budget was. I probably should know that. Maybe
I think it was a lot. I don't. Yeah, and it's a different conversation, but like I almost don't know what the market is for action movies in theaters anymore, because it seems like people aren't going the way they used to.
In general,
to movies in general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like people are going to theaters for Marvel but not even Marvel the same way. And like, really big hyped up movies like Dune 2, a lot of people went, but everything else we're seeing like Fall Guy and Furiosa this weekend making the least amount of money of any Memorial Day opening weekend in like 40 years. So yeah, maybe if Roadhouse would have went to theaters, it might have just gone down the shitter, and people are watching it because it's on Amazon. So maybe it was a good choice by them to put it straight to that.
And I found that quote that I was talking about. Basically, Amazon gave the filmmakers and Jake Gyllenhaal a choice: $60 million budget and theatrical, or $85 million in streaming. So their budget ended up being higher to go to streaming, which seems weird because I feel like you have a better chance. I don't know how you make money when you're on streamers. So like being on Amazon, I don't know how Amazon makes that money back. So why they would offer them more? It seems like it would be backwards to me.
advertisement, paid premium subscriptions, all that stuff. I don't know the baseline where it begins and goes, but I'm sure they've got it all figured out.
But even at a $60 million budget, and they always say double, so I mean that means to make a profit that Roadhouse would have had to make $120 million. I don't see it making 100.
No, probably not.
It's probably one of those movies. Like I feel like a Statham movie probably budget is like 15 million, and then he makes 40 or 50, makes some money.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't think this would have done well if they theatricalized it.
Okay, I was just curious.
No,
What you thought?
It's something we'll never know.
Yeah,
and luckily we didn't have to find out because I didn't want to pay for it.
I mean, I wouldn't have been happy if I paid to go to the movies for that.
I wouldn't have gone.
So, I mean, I probably wouldn't have either. So,
yeah,
I think that answers our own question. So let's talk about Roadhouse 2024. I got a quick synopsis for those who've saw it a while ago and forgot about it, and or didn't see it and just want to still listen to us talk about it. So here's a quick synopsis about Roadhouse 2024. In Roadhouse, former UFC fighter Elwood Dalton seeks redemption by taking a job as head bouncer at a turbulent roadhouse in the Florida Keys. As Dalton integrates into the local community, he confronts various challenges, including a powerful crime boss and a corrupt sheriff, whose name is Big Dick. Throughout his journey, Dalton forms alliances, faces violent confrontations, and grapples with his troubled past. The film blends intense action with themes of loyalty, resilience, and second chances, delivering a gripping tale set against the backdrop of a small town underworld. Starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor.
Intense action, huh?
Intense action. And you get it all in the first scene when you're watching Post Malone in a Marvel action sequence filled with CGI punches, but no costumes.
Yeah. So weird. Well, let's just get into it.
Yeah,
Let's just
initial impressions, which you clearly have already kind of heard a lot of our initial impressions. Was there anything what's a good way to start this conversation?
Well, we're gonna let the guests go first. Tony,
But are we starting from the get go? Because that was weird. He just, his side gig now is just, swindling illegal bare knuckle fighting, showing up and scaring people. Eventually, you're gonna get some dude who's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'll fight you. I don't care if you killed your friend in the ring. I'm still gonna try to fight the guy." I don't know. It's not to go back and forth and compare it with the old one, and maybe it's just because it was in the '80s and we all have like this affection towards the original. But this one, I don't know, just felt like it didn't have any heart. Started off with, all right, he's the cool loner who's got a past, and Post Malone won't fight him. He gets stabbed in the parking lot by a guy who's mad at him about losing money. He doesn't get cut. He gets stabbed. The guy sticks a knife into him where organs would have been penetrated, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, can you help me? I need to duct tape this thing shut."
Yeah, let me just put some duct tape on that.
Yeah,
wound.
Right. It wasn't. You didn't get sliced. He stuck you, and it was stuck inside of you.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, I get they're trying to make it that he's cool and whatever, but I don't know.
He had so many muscles. His muscles caught the knife before it penetrated.
That actually tracks.
If you would have played it, if you would have played a drinking game to see how many times Jake Gyllenhaal had his shirt off in this movie, you'd be fucked up in the first 30 minutes.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Granted, if I looked like that, I wouldn't wear a shirt either.
Dude, if I was jacked, I'd just walk around with tank top on and suspenders all day long.
I know he went through like some crazy rigorous training, he said, for this movie, and like diet and crazy shit that he said he would never do again. And it's, whenever they get that cut that quick, it's probably not done in the healthiest way, but
right.
The movie's got to look good for the movies.
But they said that he did a bunch of like UFC training too, right? So it was realistic.
Yeah.
So why? Because there wasn't a single fight that was real in this entire thing. It was all weird CGIs.
Mm-hmm.
And from the get-go, from the Post Malone fight, like you said, Chris, it was what you called Marvel-esque fight. It was just maybe you've come to expect more from, Guy Ritchie fight sequences or just, fight scenes in general. But the fact that they spent so much time having everything be computer generated, it was weird.
It was weird because this movie doesn't call for that. This isn't this isn't a superhero movie. Just have them. What happened to just like fight choreography with a couple dudes? I know you wanted to look some kind of certain way, but it just totally took me out of it right from the beginning. Like Post Malone throwing fake punches, and you could tell it's computer generated. It's like, what is this? A computer generated punch in a street fight, in like an underground street fight? Not necessary. Just do fight choreography. Like,
right.
Why? That's what these movies are. Like when you watch like an action movie, especially like about fighting or whatnot, you're just like, you're expecting to see that choreography, those action sequences, the stunts. Like that's all the stuff that you're going to see. And then when they kind of computerized it, like you said, it immediately makes your initial impression of the film like, like this is what you're opening. This is your opening like big action sequence is a CGI battle with Post Malone.
Maybe it's a thing with like seeing Jake Gyllenhaal in action or fight movies where what was Southpaw that he did where he's the boxer. And to watch action movie where he's a cop. There's just a certain level of grittiness that I was expecting from this, and then to have this weird kind of polished CGI thing was just like, that's not what I wanted.
No,
The worst, most noticeable one to me when he was running on that bridge and that fucking car tried to hit him, or that truck. Dude, that thing
Wow.
that was so CGI'd. He looked like a character from the Eternals when that thing hit him in the back, just like flopping around. Like, dude, this is so bad. Like, rolling my eyes. I cannot believe they did this in
And
this.
it seemed like they spent more money. They probably spent more money out of their budget on CGI than if they would just on practical effects. Where what would you need? A team of 10 between stunt people and choreographers to be there?
yeah,
I mean, that's got to be cheaper than having to do CGI every scene.
right. Like they should have opened this movie with the UFC fight of him killing his friend.
Yeah.
Like that fight looked non-CGI. That looked real. It looked like it could have been a little bit more of a impactful moment and start his
No, but
downfall instead of making his downfall be a secret.
how else were you gonna have 10 flashbacks to it though if you did that
I
way?
know, I
Yeah.
know. But it was a weird. That was a
When
weird
they
mystery.
finally
like,
got to it, the
Close-ups
build
of
for
his
that was
face,
so
like,
weird.
yeah, yeah. The first person like camera shots
yeah.
in the fights, it was weird. People punching cameras. Like I said, overall, this movie really, okay. I overall enjoyed like my time with it. Like I was like, this movie's stupid. Whatever. I watched it. Never probably watch it again. And I mean, overall, for an initial impression, it was fine. But overall, it's going to be more fun talking shit about it with you guys than I
Yeah.
had watching it.
Fine is a good way to describe it. It was fine. But also, like, I don't know, like, can shit on it completely, but like, it has its moments too. There was like, I don't know if I'm going too far into the future, but like, after the first bar fight he has with the bikers, thought it was this fun little thing when he asked if there's where the hospital was, and then the fact that he drove them to the hospital afterwards was fucking. I thought it was great.
Well, no, and that biker
That
dude Bob, he made me laugh. Like when
was
he
that
just
the little
the little
sidekick.
dude who just kept
Yeah,
like, oh, he was really nice to us, but then he broke my arm, and it was really
yeah.
weird and confusing. Like I said, the overall vibe, like once he got there, like the opening, I was like, what is this? And then once the movie started and he gets to the island and everybody's kind of like talking, like, okay, this is the kind of vibe they're going for this movie, kind of goofy, cheesy. I don't know. It did have a like kind of that retro feel to me, like the 80s, like an 80s flick where it was like everybody in the town is just like talking like the bookstore owners, just like, what are you doing in our town? And they're just like having this like the characters are all extra friendly, which I don't know. It felt like a very 80s or 90s action movie esque thing where stranger rolls into the town and everybody's super super friendly. And I was kind of enjoying it until Conor McGregor showed up, and then lots of choices they made throughout the back half of the movie really took it down a lot of notches for me. But that there was that sweet window after Post Malone and before Conor McGregor that I was
Where
like I was feeling it, and
it
then
might it had a couple moments.
it had a couple moments, and then it went to
Look at
shit.
Don's face right now.
I know.
No, I'm
He's
gonna
about to
interject.
explode.
I'm gonna interject. I've sat and listened to you guys say this movie was fine and fun and had moments. No, it didn't. You're lying. You're just lying. Why are you just lying? There was nothing good about this movie. All I could think about at the end was I want those 2 hours back and I can't get them and I'm upset at it. There was nothing good about this movie. The writing was really bad. We already talked about the action. It was really bad. Because of it was CGI. Like, okay, the bar fight out front with the bikers, some of that was like, all right, this is cool, but then they just totally ruined it later by not being able to duplicate that ever again. It's like, why was that fight okay, but every other action scene was like totally computer generated and pointless and long or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, none of the performances really did anything to me. I told you guys last night, like it seemed like Jake Gyllenhaal's character was separated from everyone else. He was acting in one movie while everyone else was acting in some other weird thing. Like everyone else was a cartoon character and he was just like a regular dude. But then all of a sudden he goes from being a regular dude who's just like passive and like smiling about everything and nothing bothers him until at the end of just a stone cold killer, like instantly for whatever reason. Like didn't really tell us why. It just kind of happened. All of a sudden he just starts killing everybody. I don't know, man. It just seemed disjointed and uh I didn't really believe the story. It was a simple story, but like they also made it complicated at the same time. Like
they tried to, like, because they kind of were like trying to like make it be a mystery as to why the bad guy wanted the bar, and he's like at the bookstore doing research on the computer trying to figure out why without actually figuring anything out. They were just like thinking about it, and then he never actually figured it out. Like, you figured it out first because the bad guy kind of talked about it on the boat without saying it. He was just kind of like, okay, they want to build a casino there or whatever. And then Jake Gyllenhaal gets told it later. So I'm like, wait, why do we spend all this time on him trying to solve the mystery in the bookstore if he's not going to solve the mystery? Didn't make any sense. I'm like, he should have been the one to figure that out if that needed to be figured out. And why wasn't like the Frankie, the girl who hired him, why wasn't she part of this story?
and how does she also have for a bar that gets destroyed every single night, how does she just have 20K to give this guy for a
Right.
month of hell?
Because that bar was always hopping. Why was there always people at the bar?
Yeah, if it's that much of a bloodbath and there's fights every night, also
why is there fights every night?
Yeah. Okay, that's
know.
the thing. Like at one point, two guys are fighting and another guy just screams out bar fight, and people that weren't fighting start punching other people that weren't fighting for no reason. It
like,
just starts like,
yeah.
It's just like, oh, people are fighting, bar fight. Hey, complete stranger who we've done nothing to each other.
I'm just gonna
I'm gonna start punching you. And just like it's like a thing. People love bar fights.
No,
like,
literally, this bar is the most dangerous place in America. Like, you step foot in there, you are risking your life.
Yeah.
People have knives that they just whip out to stab people and try to stab bartenders and security guards and breaking bottles over each other's head. Meanwhile, the band is just going to keep playing because they
doesn't
don't give
stop.
a fuck.
The band never stopped. Never.
Even
I think
when
one of them
Conor
slowed down once, and then the next time they just started playing again.
Yeah, even when Conor McGregor rips open the gate like fucking the dad from The Shining, like trying to get through. It's literally the most is everyone in this town just crazy? How come they weren't fighting in the middle of the street everywhere? Because clearly at this Florida Keys bar, everyone loses their goddamn mind and just wants to kill each other.
See, now
there are people having bachelorette parties there.
Don, you're going to start to enjoy this movie now that you've really broken it down.
I never will. I never will. And you guys will not convince me that this was good or fun. Sorry.
Listen, it's not good. It has its moments.
What moments? Fun. What moments?
Between Post Malone and Conor McGregor.
That's about it. Everything else was annoying.
Like maybe half an hour in there where I was feeling it, and then like you said, everything made no sense. It made it, like I said, why did he decide it was okay to just start murdering people? Why did everybody decide that they were going to make it personal against him? Why didn't they just go burn down the bar? If that's right, they just wanted the land, so just set the thing on fire.
Yeah, if you want it gone so bad, they're like, they've been terrorizing this bar for months, but nothing's happening. It's still sitting there. You're so rich, just burn it down or whatever, like you said.
And I never really, I guess, bought why Frankie was like obsessed with keeping it, or like they didn't ever seem like they made her. I'm assuming they made her offers to like buy it, and she just held out.
That's what she said.
But why would you if your bar is like
hell, being put through hell?
Night, like, why do you need that? Like, because it wasn't Brant's people coming in and doing it. It seemed like it was just everybody was just ready to throw down.
Yeah, it wasn't just the bikers he hired. It was also just random people who were constantly fighting in there. I don't know.
So now, you might remember, I don't, so this could be a dead-end question real quick, but is that what happened in the original? Like, didn't they wanted the property too, didn't they? What was the problem with the bar in the original?
He wanted I think it maybe he did just want the land, or he wasn't paying him his like protection money or something.
I don't. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I know. Me too. And
I'm sure there's plot holes in that one too.
No, I'm sure there is. I was just trying to figure out, and like one of the things is like what made Jake Gyllenhaal or Dalton, his character, qualified to be a cooler. He was not there to de-escalate anything, and like he wasn't. He was like a roided out MMA UFC guy with trauma. So like he is
Right.
not who your prime example is of someone who's like, oh, we need someone to come in and really calm down these intense situations at my bar. Let me bring this guy in. You're like, why would you do that? Why am I going to throw 20K at him to like he wasn't trained to be a cooler.
It was
No,
like, you know that he killed someone.
right. He's just a
Yeah.
guy who knew how to fight good. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's well, maybe that, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's her reasoning, was that she knew that what was the bad guy's name?
Brant.
Brant was coming in there. She knew what he was doing. She knew that the guys were hired by him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, fight fire with fire situation. I don't know. She went for Post Malone. She got Jake Gyllenhaal. He really likes Cuban coffee. And yeah,
Just
I don't know.
just smiling like a weirdo and being weird and taking his shirt off and not making sense and having flashbacks and
Boat dreams.
yeah. Oh my God, one of the funniest things when this movie when this movie started. By the way, I watched this movie with my wife and she made it about an hour in and just like looked over at me and was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, I get it. I'm only watching this because I'm obligated to talk about it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But like before the movie even started, when we were reading the thing like a bar in the Florida Keys, I was like, this movie's gonna be so cheesy. Like, there's gonna be some kind of crocodile in this, isn't there? And there was. Like, watch out for that croc down there. And he ate a man. I was like, I knew that was gonna happen. I just knew that there was gonna be a crocodile. I'm surprised there wasn't like a shark or something else. And it just made no sense. I just did not like this at all.
I can agree with you on many of those points. Like said,
no, you said it was good, and I don't agree.
I said it was fine.
Fine.
Fine and good are two completely different things.
Here's a question that I was trying to remember, and maybe I just missed it. Where does he get dynamite from that he ends up using to blow up a boat at some point?
It's just on the houseboat. He just
Where did
found
he
it.
just
Conor McGregor had it. So I'm assuming when he went and decided to be a murderer and kill that dude calmly by punching him in the throat and saying, "Hey, you're not going to breathe anymore, so
I broke your
good luck."
trachea.
Yeah, you're dead, but good luck, man. I'm assuming he grabbed it then, but
Okay.
I'm almost positive Conor
All
McGregor
right.
showed up with it.
At least there's a reason, because all of a sudden Jake Gyllenhaal just had dynamite, and then he was going to blow up a yacht that his girlfriend was on, but he wasn't sure, but he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Well, now that you're talking about Conor McGregor, just
Awful.
come on, man. Like,
there's no way he had a script.
What was
right?
what
he just
was
showed
that?
up to work.
I mean, if he did have a script, they just kind of let him. And yeah, that stupid walk the whole time and that grin and seeing his butt for like 5 straight minutes. I don't know why he was cast in this movie. Why you don't think you can find a better actor for this? I get it. He's a name, which doesn't even have the same cachet as it once did. He used to be like, on the top of the UFC world. It's been years since that. I guess people still do care about him. Proper 12. But dude can't act. Dude cannot act. Like, it just seemed like every scene he was in, they were just riffing. It seemed like he was improv, just like, is he saying lines? I can't hear him. It's like muffled and he's talking over other people and just smiling and only has one facial expression.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get you wanted to cast somebody who's imposing and who can fight, but there's plenty of actors who can do that, who can act at the same time. So that was just like every time he was on screen, I was like, ugh, more of this. Kill him already. Kill him.
I feel like that might have been some kind of like trade-off for them to be able to say UFC. They were like, yeah, put one of our guys in this movie.
Maybe. I mean,
it's the only thing that makes sense to me because I don't know why else you would.
I don't know. I might also be biased because I never really liked Conor McGregor. I think he's annoying, and cocky and full of himself, and never cared for him. So I don't know. I didn't really care for him in this either.
I can vouch that that's very similar. Like I said, that's when the movie took a complete turn and just kind of went a completely different direction, different like what they
Your dad
wanted
sent
to.
me. Your dad sent me. You're not doing your job. Uh, uh.
So what's the, yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, all right, so the dad, they never do a reveal of who the dad is.
Oh no, they're saving that for part 2, Tony.
Which is, even if that's the case, which they probably are, that's dumb to
Yeah.
not reveal. It's like a weird thing to hold on to for the sequel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's ever been done for whatever reason. That's just bad writing. But then he did break Brant's neck, right?
Yeah,
In the middle, like, and somehow that dude survived as long as he did with everything that happened to him. And then Conor McGregor breaks his neck because he's
yeah,
annoyed by him. Okay, even though he works for his dad.
yeah.
Okay.
Still killed his
They
only
needed,
son. Killed his
they,
only son.
yeah, they
I'm sure your
needed him
boss is
to
gonna like
do.
that.
Yeah, they needed him to do that, so then it would be okay for Jake Gyllenhaal to kill him. Because Jake Gyllenhaal needed to have reasons to be a murderer.
What about the guy in the pool?
They went and burned down the bookstore.
That's what
Okay.
set him. That's what really set him
That's
off.
what broke him because he was getting ready to go home, and then they burned down the bookstore.
You know how they kept having flashbacks of his fight? I would have enjoyed this more if he was having flashbacks of his bookstore from his childhood burning down. Because then that would have at least been funny. Like, stupid, like, completely accurate flashbacks of stuff that happened to him and it triggers him each time. That'd be great.
Very specific. When the
My
childhood
when I was
bookstore,
15, my childhood friend whose name was Brand got his neck broken, and now I'm angry enough to kill you. Yeah,
yeah, like soon as he watches Conor McGregor break that dude's neck,
it just
it just like zooms in on his face and some little kid. Hey, it's like Brant, no.
I'm a stone cold killer now.
Yeah,
if they would have had something of if he was a soldier with PTSD who saw red, or did more of the background of him after he killed his friend, that he tried to fight again, and every time he tried to fight he saw red or something, you know what I mean, just something explaining it more of how he could turn into just an absolute killer,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Another aspect of this movie, and I know we're going on about it, but the romantic relationship between him and the sheriff's daughter,
yeah, the
who,
15-year-old girl.
huh?
She looked like she was 15. It
You
just
got to
was
say
real.
that. You got to say that with context, so people will know what you're talking
I
Yeah,
about.
was
the
like,
girl who looked like she was
Chris,
15. We looked it up. There was like I think there's like a 15-year age difference between the two of them because she's
oh
like
really?
27 and he's like 43.
The
So
only
it
thing
just didn't look good.
I knew her from, she was in the Suicide Squad movie, James Gunn Suicide Squad. She was like the rat catcher or whatever. But yeah, nothing about that romance. There was no chemistry between them. They had like one kiss and then like they just kind of went away from it. And at the end of the movie, she tells him to leave, and he does, and they never have like an ending moment. So like, what was the whole point of the implied romance? It didn't hit, it didn't work. And this is a remake of an 80s movie, action movie. Like a lot of those movies from that time, like part of the story is the like romance and like the 80s
They had one.
of it. Yeah.
They had like a pretty big one from the 80s when you're thinking of like big romance scenes. It was like Top Gun and Roadhouse.
right. Right. So them just like totally dropping the ball on that story thread, and this was just like, well,
I think
why
they
do I
just
care?
threw it in there as okay, we need someone to play a nurse or a doctor. Okay, let's throw her in here. That's going to be the love interest, but then they never let it develop or do anything with it.
Right. And nothing ever came with it. So it was just like more just an example to me of bad writing, bad story formulation, just stuff all over the place. Like, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Dumb.
Did you think it was cute or funny when he's driving those guys to the hospital after that first fight?
I may have chuckled a little like,
That's all I'm saying. It was fine. That scene, come on.
no, I didn't even chuckle. It was one of those where you're looking at it kind of just like a dumb smile on your face, like, but
Now,
like,
if it had kept that vibe throughout, it would have been fun.
They tried. They tried to be like cute and funny throughout this movie, but nothing landed. It was all
Yeah.
like Looney Tunes humor. There was one point where he was fighting Conor McGregor in that raft, and
Oh my God.
Conor McGregor was like, "This welcome to our own personal octagon," and Jake Gyllenhaal was like, "Who taught you shapes?" It's like, what? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Like, why would he say that in the middle of a fight? Who taught you shapes?
That whole
When
fight, that whole
when they were
CGI
fighting
fight.
on the top of the piano, and he hit the piano, and Jake Gyllenhaal was like, "This thing's out of tune." Huh?
Sounds
Stupid.
good to me. CGI, CGI, CGI.
Yeah. Who taught you shapes? I was at that point. I was almost like Peter Griffin, like done, and I almost stood up to walk out of the room.
Yeah.
So corny, so stupid.
I can fall into the same camp that you're talking about with the fact of like, if I didn't feel obligated to watch this, then finish it. I could definitely see myself picking up my phone and riding it out. But like I said, I can an action flick, I can give it the benefit of the doubt to a point.
Okay, well,
But yeah.
I wish I had your enthusiasm for these kind of things because I wanted to stop, but I didn't because how else would I be able to tell you two sitting here how much I hated this turd? So that's why I watched.
uh,
What it needed was Sam Elliott.
yep. I was just gonna say friggin' Wade Garrett. If there would have been a
Was it like a mentor kind
yes,
of thing?
thank you. If there would have
Yeah.
if he would have had a mentor or somebody that they could have just had not even show up. I mean, just that he called at some point, had a conversation with, because that's how the first one started.
There just needed to be like emotionally or just any kind of chemistry with anybody. Like
Yeah.
if he would have with Frankie at the bar, like if he would have been able to set something up with her of just not romantic, but just even like a hey, let's
Just
clean up your bar and like
close,
show that
right.
they're close. He didn't get close with any character. I mean, the bookstore, but they weren't involved enough in the story for me to care about them.
Yeah, they had like two scenes, two
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
three scenes. That's it. But we're supposed to care that the bookstore is burned down. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't know these.
Yeah.
This,
So it's like you're just missing that emotional connection with anybody that the original one had.
Yeah.
That bookstore father was good.
He had like two lines. How do you know he was good?
They're delivered very well.
Okay.
Like I said, he was the first one that like when the movie started after the opening and he got to the keys and then like he started talking with that guy and I was like, all right, this feels like an 80s action movie. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And then like I said, that was like the high and it went down from there.
Yeah, very quickly fell apart. Very quickly. Just
Yeah.
until like it tried to be serious at the end. Couldn't handle, like fell under the weight of its own, what it thought of itself. It thinks it's something it's not. It was just, I don't know, man. Not good.
I definitely hear that. I don't see myself diving into Roadhouse 2024 anytime soon. But will you watch Roadhouse 2?
With Busey?
No, Roadhouse. Gyllenhaal Roadhouse 2.
He's talking about
now I kind of do want to watch Busey's Roadhouse 2. But
is he the star? Is he like the lead?
No, his name's like third on the cover.
Okay.
It's someone who's playing Dalton's son.
Oh boy.
Jalton?
Maybe.
Junior Dalton?
Jalton, get over here.
Jalton.
Will you watch Roadhouse 2026?
I will not. I will
probably not. If you're gonna podcast about it, you probably will.
No, we won't. We won't be podcasting about it. I refuse.
No more Roadhouse. This was the end of the line for the Roadhouse flicks with Raised a Geek.
My thing is also just like stop making 80s classic action movie remakes. They're never as good. Like I get it. Just make some original movies. Like what's going on? What's up? Like
this
no
was
Roadhouse.
An original movie. They just slapped the name and the name on it.
Yeah, but
there was nothing Roadhouse about this movie outside of the title and the name of the main character.
A guy protecting a bar, coming in to clean up a bar. It's like the same theme, but I mean, they did name it Roadhouse, and it's supposed to be a remake of Roadhouse.
Oh no,
So
I know what it is, but yeah,
yeah,
it's still just like,
you
what
failed
are you
at
doing
it.
here?
Is what
Oh,
is my
100%.
point. Like, just don't do it. You're terrorizing the memories of people our age who are like, these are classic movies. These are great action flick. Now every time someone says Roadhouse, I'm gonna think about this instead of Patrick Swayze, and
No, no, no,
that's a
no, no.
crime.
Don't you dare.
That's
Yeah, that's not cool. You need to go watch Roadhouse 89 and wash the taste of this out of your mouth.
I might have to. I definitely I could do with a Swayze
And
action.
and if anything, what that's going to do is that's going to make you hate this more.
It probably will.
Which I feel like you'd love, Don. You love hating this.
I do love hating this.
I've enjoyed listening to your hate for Roadhouse 2024.
Well, it's good, and we have a lot of my hate is good, guys. My hate is good. We spend a lot of time on this podcast, like lately. It seems like giving a lot of love. Everything we watch, like I loved it. This is great. Me and Chris both agree. It's good to hate something again. I haven't hated anything on here in a long time, and I just need to let people know that there are still some things I hate. I don't love everything, and this is a prime example of something I wish didn't exist, but I watched it anyway.
Do you respect Jake Gyllenhaal less now?
I mean, I get it; it's a paycheck, and I've seen him in plenty of good stuff. I know I know he's a great actor. I'm gonna go watch Prisoners after this again, just to remind myself of how good he is.
You got to give it some time. You're gonna have Roadhouse flashing into your head while you're watching that.
Yeah.
Then you watch The Covenant. Did you watch The Covenant yet?
I still didn't watch it. That's Guy Ritchie's, right?
Yeah, that movie's outstanding.
Mm.
Watch some Donnie Darko, get a little bit of Swayze.
Watch Donnie Darko.
Yeah. Swayze and Gyllenhaal are in that.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate.
This is the original Roadhouse crossover.
Shit.
When was the last time you watched Donnie Darko?
At least
it's been a
5
decade,
years, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I watched it when it came out. I don't think I've watched it again.
I watched it a lot
years.
when it came out.
I think it's been a minute, but might have to do it. Maybe that'll be what next week's about. Watch Donnie Darko.
I've got 2 copies of Donnie Darko, and I don't know why.
Probably stole mine. Anyway.
No.
All right. So this was our conversation about Roadhouse 2024. Before the finger pointing of who stole whose copy of Donnie Darko gets to a fever pitch. Any final thoughts? Anything else that you want to say that we did not discuss about Roadhouse 2024?
No, the final fight was so stupid. He got stabbed so many times and then he lived.
And then lived, right?
That really took all of it away. Like, okay, I was like, he just kept stabbing him and pulling him out and stabbing him again, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then like I said, okay, and then he died.
Yeah. And then when he's walking out of the hospital, he didn't have like a mark on his face at all.
Yeah.
And like didn't look like a man was stabbed about 5 times with a broken wood.
Broken boat. He got stabbed up with boat 47 times.
All right. Nah, he's okay. He's just gonna Vince McMahon walk out of here, out of the damn hospital room again, and then let's see his butt one more time. Yeah, that's a great way to end this movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't think that anybody should like totally take my word for it. If you're curious and you haven't seen it, you want to go watch it, see for yourself. You might like it. Maybe it's for you. It just wasn't for me.
So you're saying it has its moments.
It does not. It does not have any moments from beginning to end. Like, just my wife was like at one point, just like, this sucks. And I was like, yeah, it does. This really sucks. But yeah, see for yourself. Go watch it if you haven't seen it and you want to go see it. You know, everyone's entitled to check it out for yourself. But just me personally, I did not like it. So, but I never would have known if I didn't watch. So I'm not so mad I watched it. At least I know. Now I know.
Yeah, try it out and see. I mean, that's the whole fun of movies, just in general. Not every movie. There's, I watched Poor Things and absolutely hated it, and everybody loves it. So, is what it is.
There you go.
Yeah. Each our own. Each our own. But this was Roadhouse 2024. Trying to see how to end this.
It was Roadhouse 2024.
All right, cool. So yeah, I know. I'm just putting notes in here to clean up the ending. So did you? Don just said for people to go out there and watch Roadhouse and make your own opinions. What is your opinion? Did you watch Roadhouse 2024 and you want to let us know what you thought? So you know how to do that. Hit us up on social media at Raise the Geek, raisethegeek@gmail.com if you want to send us an old-fashioned email or subscribe to the podcast and listen to more of our takes about things that you love
Or hate.
or hate. If you want to hear
like Roadhouse.
We don't always bring the love, so we're not corporate shills. But I think,
Unless they want us to be, send us money.
I mean, yeah.
If Amazon sent me a bunch of money,
I'd
I'd like this.
This is how you know we don't get paid yet.
Yeah.
You pay us, and we will love Roadhouse too.
You pay me, I'll love Roadhouse. I'll love Roadhouse if you pay me.
Man, you see how smooth that CGI punch was? Amazing.
Jeff Bezos.
But I think that's going to do it for us this week. So for Raise the Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm Don. And that's Tony.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming out and talking some Roadhouse with us, man. We're glad you could got the schedule now to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get you on more talking about stuff that we love and hate. But thanks for checking out the show.
Where geek is all we speak.